ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I'm your host of the most, as always, Francois878, and today we're going to be talking about the Rakta Dark Dagger, the brand new Syndicate melee available to you guys through the Red Veil Syndicate. You can purchase this weapon from the Red Veil for 125,000 standing. You do have to be max rank in the Syndicate in order to purchase it, and you have to be Mastery rank 8 to wield it. Now, this weapon, like all the other Syndicate melees, does have a couple of unique passive abilities instead of the more traditional Syndicate AoE procs that the primaries and the secondaries have, which I'm a big fan of these passives. Even though some of the passives for these melee weapons aren't great, I do generally like the idea of weapons getting passive bonuses like this. The Rakta Dark Dagger has two passives. You are less easily seen, you're less visible to enemies by about 75%. If the data mining is to be believed. So you're not invisible, but enemies do have a harder time seeing you, so you have a little bit of wiggle room when you're trying to stealth missions. The other passive, which is arguably the most important one, especially with the builds that I'm going to show you later on, is whenever you attack an irradiated enemy, you will actually gain 5% of your shields back per hit. And that can also be turned into overshields. That is... it's a really, really solid ability. It's definitely one of the more solid abilities given to us by the Syndicate melees. A lot of the other Syndicate melees are good abilities, but they're a pain to trigger. Irradiated enemies aren't that hard to trigger, especially since the Rakta Dark Dagger deals exclusively radiation damage. And while it does have a meager status chance, frames like Oberon here or Loki are make it much easier to irradiate large groups of enemies very quickly, and that's where you would get the most out of this particular dagger. Now, the the Rakta Dark Dagger is actually unique amongst the Syndicate melees because you can actually get the Syndicate AoE proc. It's the Rakta Dark Dagger can equip the Red Veil Dark Dagger mod that increases your status chance by 100% and also adds Blight to the weapon. Which you can see here. This is going to be my first build here, which is going to be for Grenier, primed pressure point, of course, spoiled strike for more damage. The damage on the Rakta Dark Dagger is quite low, and the speed decrease I didn't felt because the homing fang stance is such a fast stance. I didn't really feel like it really hurt my speed very much. This second build here is just a Blood Rush body count build. I also have Gleaming Blight on all three of these builds. Gleaming Blight is absolutely a necessary mod. It is a mandatory mod. Having that extra status chance ensures that you're going to irradiate enemies more consistently, and it will allow you to proc that extra shields. This third build here uses Primed Reach and Fury for just more attack speed and more reach due to the dagger's short range, and this build is very interesting. Now, one thing you guys may have noticed, I only have Life Strike on one of those three builds, and that is because I don't feel like Life Strike is absolutely necessary with the Rakta Dark Dagger because of the way it recharges shields and overshields. I feel like you should pretty consistently be relying on that. If you want more survivability with Life Strike, it is something that you can add. It is a mod that I would recommend, but it's not a mandatory mod. Something else I should probably mention, for the elemental damage, I went with pure radiation damage. I didn't try to equip any other types of elemental damage onto the weapon, because the more types of elements that you have on this dagger, the less likely you are going to be able to irradiate enemies, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of the weapon. Now, this weapon does innately deal radiation damage, so viral would be the easiest double element to get on to the Rakta Dark Dagger. Viral is a great elemental proc, so if you absolutely need it, go for it. But the AoE syndicate procs do proc viral. So, while it's not as frequent as you would like, you will have access to viral status effects if you need it. Also, something that I did not have on those builds is Covert Lethality. Covert Lethality is a great mod on the Dark Dagger just due to the speed of the Dark Dagger. I didn't have that on there because these aren't really stealth-focused builds. But if you are looking for a stealthier dagger, throwing Covert Lethality on the Rakta Dark Dagger is a great choice. Now, personally, I think this dagger is a lot of fun to use. I think it has a lot of stealth capabilities, especially with Covert Lethality, especially with the 75% less visibility. I think those are great passives for stealth, and it will be a lot of fun. And I think that this dagger will also give characters like Loki, who are traditionally maybe not the most stellar picks for heavy combat situations, a reason to be brought to a heavy combat situation. You know, Loki innately has low shields and low health, but with the Rakta Dark Dagger, you could be constantly refilling those shields with Irradiated Disarm. Same thing with Oberon. Oberon has two different abilities that irradiate, so giving you a reason to bring Oberon out of the arsenal. But thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this dagger. Until next time, I've been your host of the most, as always, Francois878, signing off.